It's 1963. Aston Martin is weeks away from bankruptcy. Their racing team, the thing that made them famous, just shut down. They're out of money, out of options, and luxury car buyers, they don't watch TV ads, so that's not an option. So here's what they did instead. They put a car in a movie and turned it into a weapon. Literally. Machine guns, smoke screens, an injector seat. That one decision, that one car in Goldfinger, didn't just save the company. It created a brand association so powerful that 60 years later, people still think of James Bond when they see an Aston Martin. Today, we're breaking down how Aston Martin pulled it off, and more importantly, how you can use the exact same strategy, even if you're not selling six-figure sports cars. Here's what's in today's episode. We're going to walk through the Aston Martin comeback story step by step, the problem they faced, the insight that changed everything, the execution that made it iconic. Then, I'm going to show you the science behind why brand association works, backed by marketing research. And finally, the part you actually care about, 3 specific, actionable ways you can build brand associations for your business. Stick with me to the end because the takeaway section, that's where this gets practical. Let's go. Some context. Aston Martin in the 1960s wasn't a boutique car brand struggling to get noticed. They were winners who had a championship-level racing team, high-performance machines, credibility in the motorsports world. But racing, insanely expensive. By 1963, they couldn't afford to keep the team running, so they shut it down. Now, here's the problem. Racing wasn't just their passion, it was their marketing engine. It's how luxury buyers discovered them, how they proved the cars were fast, reliable, and desirable. Without racing, they had no way to reach their audience. TV ads, too expensive. And even if they could have afforded them, wealthy car buyers weren't sitting around watching commercials. Print ads in magazines, fine, but boring. Everyone was doing that. So Aston Martin is staring down this brutal paradox. They need marketing to make sales, but they need sales to afford marketing. Classic chicken and egg problem. And if they didn't figure it out fast, they were done. Out of business. Enter John Steers, special effects designer working on the next James Bond film, Goldfinger. Steers decides he wants to use an Aston Martin DB5 in the movie. Now, Aston Martin's first reaction? Skeptical. Cars had been in movies before, but it never moved the needle, never translated to brand awareness or sales. But then, someone at Aston Martin had a different idea. What if they didn't just loan a car? What if they collaborated? Here's the real insight a lot of marketing people miss. Product placement is forgettable, but if you make the product part of the story, if you make it essential to the hero's success, that's when things get interesting. So they didn't just hand over a DB5, they worked with Steers to turn it into a character. Bulletproof windows, revolving license plates, oil slick dispenser, smokescreen, and yes, the injector seat. That car wasn't in the movie, it was the movie. The DB5 became as iconic as Bond himself. And that's the pivot. Aston Martin realized they didn't need their own marketing. They needed to borrow someone else's audience and make their product inseparable from the audience's hero. Here's how Aston Martin did it. First, they went all in on collaboration. This wasn't a passive sponsorship deal. Aston Martin engineers worked directly with the film's special effects team. They customized the car, they made it functional and cinematic. When audiences saw the DB5 on screen, it wasn't just cool, it was believable because it was real. Second, they doubled down on the association. After Goldfinger, Aston Martin didn't walk away. They kept showing up in Bond films, Thunderball, Goldeneye, Skyfall. The association became permanent. Third, and this is smart, they merchandised the hell out of it. The DB5 toy car became the fastest selling toy car in history. That generated cash, real cash they used to restart their racing team. Now they have a marvelous marketing flywheel. Bond movie creates brand awareness, toy sales generate revenue, racing team reinforces performance credibility, which leads to more car sales, which funds more marketing. One strategic decision, multiple revenue streams, compounding brand equity. That's execution. All right, let's talk some marketing science. Because this isn't just a feel-good story. There is actual research behind why brand association works. A study published in the Journal of Consumer Research looked at something called the halo effect in brand partnerships. Researchers found when a brand partners with a high-status entity, like a celebrity, a movie franchise, or even another prestigious brand, consumers transfer their positive feelings about that entity onto the brand. But here's the key. The association only works if there's alignment. If James Bond had driven a minivan, it wouldn't have worked. But a sleek, high-performance British sports car, perfect alignment. The study also found that these associations are sticky, meaning once they're formed, they're incredibly hard to break. 60 years later, people still associate Aston Martin with James Bond. That's not luck. That's strategic brand association at work. So the science backs it up. If you align your brand with something your audience already loves, respects, or aspires, you inherit that emotional equity. Here's how to use this for your own marketing. You're probably not putting your product in a James Bond film, but you can build brand associations that drive sales and increase perceived value. Here are 3 ways to do it. 1, get crystal clear on your brand message. What does your brand stand for? What's the one thing people think about when they hear your name? Aston Martin, that equals sophistication, performance, British elegance. Once you know that, you protect it. You don't dilute it by trying to be everything to everyone. Victoria's Secret tried to pivot to wellness and lost their core identity. McDonald's adding salads didn't make health-conscious people start eating there. It just confused everyone. Pick your lane, stay in it. Number 2, avoid negative associations like the plague, because once they stick, they're almost impossible to remove. When a cybersecurity CEO publicly mishandled a data breach, the association became, can't even protect themselves. Devastating. But look at KFC during the chicken shortage in the UK. They ran an ad with their buckets rearranged to say FCK. They apologized with humor, turned a disaster into a positive brand moment. Handle problems carefully, because every mistake creates an association, good or bad. Number 3, pick a few key messages and repeat them relentlessly. Kit Kats, have a break, have a Kit Kat, have been running for over 60 years. Same message, same positioning, over and over. That's not boring. That's branding. You don't need a new campaign every quarter. You need one great message repeated consistently across every channel until it becomes automatic in your customer's mind. Refine your message, repeat it everywhere, let time do the work. So here's the Aston Martin lesson. You don't need the biggest marketing budget. You need the right association. Find something your audience already loves, align your brand with it, make the connection undeniable and part of the story, and then repeat it until it becomes permanent. That's how a bankrupt car company turned one movie into a 60-year brand legacy. Go build yours. Your marketing move.